So today's quote wanted to come from one of our real, I guess, trailblazers in the Moms on the Front Line movement, so to speak. So the quote comes from Mamie Till, and it says, "When people saw what had happened to my son, men stood up who had never stood up before." And so there's been a lot of things happening to our sons, so I want to encourage us to encourage people to keep standing up. Enjoy the call, ladies.
Okay. Thank you, Nashiba Star. Next, we're going to have Minutes by Tammy Greer Brown, but I think she fell off the call and is dialing back in, so just give her a minute. Okay, I think she's having some technical difficulties dialing in.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, we do.
Okay, I'm sorry. For some reason, it had me doing something else. Good morning, everybody. Let me get to the minutes from the 22nd, or the 20th, excuse me, quickly. The meeting started at 9:34 a.m. with an opening prayer from Nashiba Star. There were no minutes read. DePelsha talked about the organization, the two organizations, the 501c3, which is Moms of Black Boys United, and the 501c4, which is the Mob United for Social Change, our advocacy arm. Also talked about the purpose and the mission of Mob United and the 5-point platform. Vanessa talked about the Mob anniversary and July 7th, which will be our one-year anniversary, which we will commemorate, and how we'll be sharing our anniversary at the Essence Jazz Festival, and how we were approved to have a booth there, and we will be showcasing some of the content we've been concentrating on. It's entitled Woke Wonderland, and we're inviting every mom to join us on the front line there. She also spoke about the Mother's Day brunch in Los Angeles, where Shani Lindsay, our husband to Reggie Thomas, who was tased to death in Pasadena, California, and Cardina Smith, who is the guardian of Cornell Snell Jr., who was killed the day after Reginald Thomas was killed in the LA area. Lisa in Chapter Development spoke about the Baton Rouge meet and greet and the Southern California meet and greet, which was hosted by Pamela Garcia. And if you're interested in hosting a meet and greet during our mob anniversary, please reach out to her. Delisha spoke about Delisha with the Policy Committee, talked about how we're continuing to come up with effective ways to respond to different situations across the country. We've been putting into our statements how to get in touch with people involved with the incidents and reaching out to mobs in the area. And trying to influence the situation and officials has been quite responsive. We are now featured under our Take Action section on our website. Look for news and alerts. And we're continuing to monitoring what's happening in various states, including New York City, North Carolina with the Raise the Age. Texas is with the Sandra Bland Act, which is a call for action. California with the non-financial bail reform. Louisiana with the criminal justice reform, and Connecticut with police reforms. We had a guest, retired Sergeant Cheryl Dorsey, who is the author of the creation of a manifesto of Black and Blue, which chronicles her 20-year journey through the LAPD. She has 3 boys and grandsons, and she spoke about the police culture and how it's systematic from top down, and gave us poignant tips on how to stay alive and get out of situations with the police. And there was a Q&A, closing prayer by Nashiba Star, and the call ended at 10:55 a.m. And that's the minutes for the 20th of May.
Thank you, Tammy. So for those who may be joining for the first time, I'll quickly review the mission and purpose. As Tammy mentioned, we have two organizations, Moms of Black Boys United, which provides information and support for moms of Black sons and promotes positive images of Black boys and men. Our advocacy organization is Mob United for Social Change, which is focused on implementing policies that impact how Black boys and men are treated by law enforcement and in society as a whole. So just going through the next stage quickly, we have a 5-point approach to influence policy, change perception, demonstrate our power, partner strategically, and promote self-care. So that is the quick overview, and I will turn it over to Nishiva Star for a quick health and wellness update.
Thank you, Dipalsha. Good morning, everyone. Again, I just wanted to remind us there's so much going on in self-care as one of our platforms. We want to definitely keep that in mind. We do still have our weekly prayer call on Mondays for Christian Faith Observers. The call-in number is 641-715-0700. And the access code is 511074. And the call happens on Mondays at 12 p.m. Eastern. So if you are a Christian Faith Observer or if you want to just listen in on the call, that's definitely fine. We've had several people sort of just audit the call during their lunch break because they can't really contribute, but they definitely still say they get value out of that. So if you are interested, please join us on that call. And as always, we are looking to be able to build calls for other faith observers. So if that's something you're interested in, please email healwell@mobunited.org. In addition, we are excited that we've been able to recently as of about 3 weeks ago, start our meditation calls. Our meditation calls are on Sundays at 8:30 Eastern with the fabulous Shira Hall. Oh, by the way, I should mention that Kathy McCoy and Jawan Stewart are the prayer lead to lead the prayer calls, and they are just amazing. And Shira's meditation calls are equally incredible. So that call-in information is 515-739-1285, and the access code for that is 322615. Again, I'm just going to say our email is healwell@mobunited.org. So if you have any information on how you would like to expand the prayer/meditation subcommittee, I would definitely love to hear from you. So that is the update for the Health and Wellness Committee. I do want to say something really quick on behalf of the Education and Engagement Committee, who is that's led by the chair, Kamari Gafoy-Davis. We are really excited about all the pictures and the posts about our sons. They're heading off to college. They're doing some really amazing things. And Mob Connections is definitely the time of year, or excuse me, Mob Connections is the initiative where we focus on connecting our sons to aunties who may live in an area where they're going to school in. So if you are or you know someone who might be near Swainsboro, Georgia, there is a mom there who would really love a mob auntie for her son. So if you guys know anyone who's a mob who's in Swainsboro, Georgia, or maybe you know a mob who has not joined yet and is like, hey, I have a great opportunity for you, please definitely connect them with the organization and then connect them with Kamari at mobconnections.org. We are definitely looking for our sons to be connected to some mob aunties all over the country. So if you are an auntie, or if you would like to be an auntie, or if you're a mom, you're like, hey, my son is going to be in Tennessee, but we live in Florida. I would love to have an auntie for him. Reach out to Kamari at mobconnections@mobunited.org, and we will be able to look out for your son as well. So that is the updates for the Health and Wellness Committee and the Education and Engagement Committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Nishiva Star. Up next, we have Chris Baldwin from Events and Demonstrations.
Good morning, moms. Thank you for joining us once again on a Saturday morning and dedicating your time to learn more about Mob United. We really appreciate it. And Nishiva Star, that's awesome. One mission of the Mob is that we'll never leave our boys behind, and we'll never leave our moms have to stand alone on this journey of raising a son, which leads me to my update under events and demonstrations. Our goal is I'm looking for additional volunteers And for anyone who has any experience with establishing fundraising and have a background in terms of revenue strategies, at Mob United, we have a mission and a purpose to provide resources to support our moms, our sons, as well as to continue to be an advocacy voice to protect our sons. Unfortunately, the revolution is being televised as it was predicted in the 80s by Public Enemy, but at no point did they inform everyone that it does have to be financed and it's not free. So if you have experience that can help us provide fundraising to support our mission and our goal and beginning to continue to put resources out in the community and then expand our mission and our voice to work to change perceptions, please, please, please sign up for the fundraising committee, and we'll definitely love to have you. What you can do is you can go to our website at mobunited.org and click on the link that tells you how to get involved. Thank you, ladies, and have a wonderful, blessed Saturday with your sons. Looks like I still have one update. I jumped too soon. I apologize for that. One of the other committees that I wanted to share with you is the Mob United for Social Change, our call center. You may have seen rapid response alerts that have been posted online in regards to our call to action for different activities. If you're interested in participating in volunteering for our virtual call center, please sign up. You can go to our website, mobunited.org, and click on the link that tells you to get involved. At our virtual call center, it allows you to be able to make a difference, to be a woke mom on the front line, and call on different initiatives. If you're at opportunity at your computer, you'll see a screenshot of the rapid response alert that went out in regards to the Tulsa Police Department shooting and the involvement with Betsy Shelby. We were involved with that case when it started. Unfortunately, the end results were not what we anticipated in terms of having Ms. Shelby be held accountable for the murder of Terrence Crusher. But we did lift our voices and band together as a unit of moms to get her charged, to get her removed off the force on suspension. But they're going to continue to be a need for us to raise our voice. So if you have an opportunity to make a few calls during the day, on your drive to work, on your lunch break, or on your drive home, please sign up at mobunited.org. Click on the link on the page to get involved and join our virtual call center. It only takes 5 minutes, 5 seconds, 5 calls to make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Up next is Alicia Reynolds-Hand from Politics.
Thanks, Sapulsha, and thanks, Chris. Call Center is doing a great job, and just to echo Chris's ask, the policy committee works on the content for these different rapid responses. So we continue to just try to be responsive as different situations come to our attention, and we connect with people on the ground, different organizations. We get information. We try to assess the situation to make sure that these are incidents that are aligned to our mission, where we can advocate for our boys and for improved policies that will impact our boys, and then mobilize through the call center. So please do get involved if you have time to make some calls. Which sort of leads to our report out for policy. You know, in addition to trying to provide an immediate response, we're also trying to focus on building community power, again, making connections at the local level. And so we're currently involved in about 10 states, and really the main message that I wanted to share this morning is that where we have been involved, our voices are being heard. Over the last few weeks, where folks have been making calls, sending emails, so on and so forth, you know, and even though these are unfortunate circumstances, there's a couple of things we've noted. So one is that when people are calling, they're starting to hear responses like, oh, you're that mom's group, or in instances where people are calling, you know, people say, okay, we've been receiving your calls. And we're also starting to have significant wins. So in addition to rapid response, we have been working on a state legislative campaign. Most of the state legislatures are sort of winding up their sessions, but there are a few states that are still going, and they'll go through the summer. A couple like California have year-long legislative sessions, so we'll continue to monitor what's going on in their states. But just wanted to highlight here, and this is what you have on the bottom half of the slides for those of you who are following online. We've had significant wins, and I think that this is a direct result of your engagement when we put out calls to action and ask people to make calls. Who's been making those calls? Myself, as well as other members of the policy committee, have been on the phone with different legislative staff, representatives in different states, and they definitely are aware of our presence and the pressure that we're putting on local and state elected officials. In North Carolina, we're still working on the Raise the Age campaign. It's passed the House, or it's passed the Senate rather, and needs to pass the House. So we're halfway there. Raise the Age just happened a couple of months ago now. That's a win. The Sandra Bland Act, you know, not perfect, but it gets us on the road towards reforming things in Texas. So we got to count that as a win. This week we focused on non-monetary bail proposal that we've been behind. It's passed one chamber. It failed to pass in another chamber, but we've been told that the other bill that passed in the Senate is likely to go back to the House and has a better chance of movement there potentially. So we're almost there. In Louisiana, we also had some wins, and wanted to turn it over to our chapter representative in Baton Rouge, Frankie, to just talk a little bit in more detail about what some of those wins were in Louisiana.
Thank you, Delicia. Good morning, everyone. Always a pleasure to spend Saturday morning with moms who are on the front line, so thank you for the opportunity to give a brief update on some of the legislative successes here in Louisiana on behalf of our entire mob group here in Louisiana. So one of the things that I wanted to start off with highlighting before we get into very briefly the criminal justice reform package and update you on that, but I'm really happy to report that there are two bills that have been successful and that have passed that were proposed by a police reform champion here in Baton Rouge by the name of Ted James, State Representative Ted James. Earlier on in the year, we had a brief meeting with Representative James to introduce him to Mob United for Social Change, to let him know who we are and what we do. And at that time, he shared with us his intent to release 5 bills that were directly related to police reform, because he has been a legislator who has been out on the front lines working to protect our sons, and who has been very visible and vocal since the death of Alton Sterling here, and honestly prior to that as well. But as a direct result of Alton Sterling's murder, he began working with the law enforcement community and various community leaders to draft legislation that would fill the gaps, that would hopefully prevent things such as police violence and police murders of civilians based upon loopholes in the law at a minimum in terms of that one-dimensional approach. So I'm happy to report that one of the bills that he proposed has passed, and it's on its way to the governor, and that is House Bill 277. And basically that bill would require all peace officers to annually complete a minimum of 400 hours of basic core curriculum training and a minimum of 20 hours of in-service training to remain accredited. It specifically requires training in de-escalation, bias policing recognition, handling mentally ill persons, and crisis intervention. Right now, the current block of instruction includes 64 hours designated as electives of the type of training that this particular bill would require. It's possible that some of the new training requirements could be absorbed within the training category that he's proposing, but basically it would no longer be an elective. If approved by the governor, which we know that it will be, he's also pro-reform and definitely supportive of Ted James's efforts, the bill would immediately become law, and the agencies would have until January 1st of next year to prepare for training. So that is definitely a success that we wanted to share. There was also another bill that was, it actually is headed to the governor as well, that was drafted by or presented by Representative James, and that was House Bill 276. Originally, the bill primarily focused on the administrative leave provision and would have basically not allowed for officers who were under investigation for officer-involved shootings to remain on payroll. They would basically not be on payroll, but once they were cleared of wrongdoing, they would receive back pay. Well, that was removed very aggressively from the bill, and the bill was very much so watered down. However, what we have is a bill that does address at least one of the issues. Right now, officers have 30 days to seek legal counsel if they're involved in an officer-involved shooting. The bill that is passed would reduce that amount of time and only give officers 14 days to seek legal counsel, unless, of course, they were hospitalized, and then they would have the traditional 30 days. So that in itself is a win, not what we were hoping for, but definitely a start and an acknowledgement in terms of the need for the police to be police per se. Another thing, just to update really quickly, although we have not crossed the finish line with the criminal justice reform package, we are able to pretty much see the light at the end of the tunnel. The session is scheduled to end on June 8th, so we're all very excited about that happening. And it is refreshing to see that the criminal justice reform package is still moving forward. It has not moved forward without great opposition in some of the categories, but we are at the home stretch. So this morning there is actually a committee meeting where several bills will be heard that are a part of the package. It's at 9:30, so I'm going to be signing off shortly. But there are several bills that we are watching that are a part of that particular package, and those bills are basically, just to give a few examples, one is House Bill 519, and it basically expands employment licensure opportunities for formerly incarcerated. Just in a nutshell, for example, if someone is convicted of a felony here, they can't even get a barber's license. So this is trying to help reduce barriers to reentry. There's also a bill that suspends child support for individuals who are incarcerated, and then there's also a bill that tailors financial debt obligations to an individual's ability to pay. So a lot of the bills that are being heard today are really breaking down some of the barriers to reentry, and then there's also one that expands opportunity for commutation and pardon consideration. So those are key bills that will be heard this morning, and then on Monday, soon we'll see a call to action listed for all of our mob sisters to see, but on Monday there is also significant action. The big three of the criminal justice reform bill, Senate Bill 139, 220, and 221, that are pretty much the cornerstone of the criminal justice reform package. They are going to the full House floor vote. So we are asking MOB members to call, even if you don't live in Louisiana, just make calls on behalf of MOB. So those are 3 bills that are huge as a part of the package, and we are wanting those to receive final passage as well. So that's pretty much it for the criminal justice reform package. And Delicia, thank you for the opportunity to share this.
No problem. Thank you, Frankie. Thank you for the work that you're doing on the ground. For those of you listening, there's multiple opportunities to get involved. You can get involved in the call center. And frankly, if you are wondering how to get engaged in these issues in your state, join policy. We are trying to get more and more presence across different regions and states, and we can show you and direct you how. So you don't need to do this for a living. If you've got an interest and a passion around trying to change these policies, please do get involved. We're trying to impact things at all different levels. These rapid response initiatives help to bring attention immediately, but they don't change policy, right? They don't prevent that police officer from going back out and doing the same thing. They don't change police culture. And so this is why this level of engagement is important. The laws need to change, but also the standards and policies that are implemented on a daily basis by law enforcement officials need to change. And so these are just some of the examples. And going back to the main message, we're having an impact. The next area of focus that I wanted to just briefly call attention to is that we are continuing to move forward with our outreach and relationship building goals for the year. So in August, typically Congress goes home for recess. So they're not in D.C. They go back into their districts, and they tend to meet a lot of folks. You might think, well, why are we even going to engage with Congress, because nothing's really happening right now, and this is not an administration that is friendly. This is about relationship building. The organization is less than a year old, and so the goals are to identify some members of Congress. So we have a targeted list, most of which represent the key states that we have active members in. And so we are going to begin that outreach and introduce the organization to congressional representatives, their staff, as well as members of Congress in particular. Also, there's something that we yield as a result. They get to know who we are. We become a resource to them that they can call upon. So for their constituents, for example. And then additionally, they might identify other organizations with whom it would make sense for us to develop relationships. So if this is something that you might be interested in, you want to go along to a meeting, these will all take place in August. Send an email to policy@mobunited.org. And also go to our website, mobunited.org, to find out more information about how you can get involved. Moving from that, we're also going to be shifting to developing relationships with key organizations. So we are at the discussion table with key organizations who are leading the fight for criminal justice reform and issues that directly impact our boys. So to that end, we've already got some organizations identified with whom we're in communication with. So some of these are national, some of these are more regional. We've just listed a couple on the slides, but if you are involved with a coalition, or you know of an organization in your region that is focused on advocacy and focused on issues pertaining to our mission, which is for Mob United for Social Change, which is to impact policy, which impacts our sons and boys, please let us know. Send us the name, send us the contact, and we'll check them out and add them to our list. And that's all we have for policy this week. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alicia and Frankie. Thanks, Alicia and Frankie. Up next, we want to talk about what we're calling our Mobiversary, which is the one-year anniversary of the founding of Mob United, which was last July 7th. We have a number of activities planned to commemorate this, and we say commemorate instead of celebrate because we were brought together based on tragedy and a sad occasion, so we want to commemorate it appropriately. And we have a team of people who are going to tell you more about the plans we have. It's very exciting, starting with Vanessa McCullers. Vanessa?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We're so excited about Mobiversary. Though we're not celebrating and more commemorating it, I think that there is a lot for us to acknowledge. And one of the things that is very important to be aware of is the fact that, you know, we all joined and participated in this organization because we are really awake. We know what's going on in our community. We know that there are many issues around social injustice and racism, and we want it to stop. And so that the premise, the idea of being a woke mom is how we will be theming this particular Mobiversary, hoping that we can commemorate what it means to be a woke mom and be a member of Moms of Black Boys United and Mob United for Social Change, as well as ask others to join us in that also. So here's a quick video that we've put together that kind of explains more about being a woke mom, and I'll play it for you now. So as a part of our Mobiversary this year, we'll be kicking it off with a number of different social pushes and a number of different events that start with Essence Festival, as well as regional events. And I'm going to toss this to Brandy, who will share with us how we're launching this initiative on social. Oh, I'm sorry. Before I jump to Brandy, just want to mention to you all again that we will be at Essence Festival from June 30th through July 2nd. While we're there, we'll have the opportunity to meet with moms that are there for the festival or that live locally. So there will be sign-ups that you can look for on our website for that. That's mobunited.com. And aside from the website, you can also follow us on social. And to share more about social is Brandy. Brandy, remember to star 6, please.
Good morning, ladies. Thank you so much, Vanessa. Excited to be on the call today to kind of share with you guys exactly what we've mapped out for our Mobiversary plans this year. Again, like Vanessa said, we're going to be, it's a multi-pronged approach. We're going to have representation at the 2017 Essence Festival, which essentially they call a party with a purpose. We'll be able to get there and have a booth space where we can show all things Mob United, meet with people and moms who come through the booth space, kind of share our message, generate awareness, and we're looking even at having some merchandise there. We're also doing some regional events that Lisa will speak to shortly after me, but then we're also doing a big social push just to get the awareness and the messaging out about all things Mobiversary. So in reference to Essence Fest, we're going to be pushing 1 to 2 posts per week on our social platforms, just again generating awareness and letting people know that we will be in attendance. Like Vanessa mentioned, we will be sharing some social posts to share links where people can sign up and get more information. There's also an opportunity for moms who are currently active with us to come through our booth space and serve time. I think we're doing increments of about 3 hours, so there'll be links circulated there speaking to that as well, where you can sign up to help us out at our booth. But really the posts that are centered around Essence Fest are just to create awareness and creative messaging to drive excitement about our presence there. For the regional events, we're going to also be posting across all of our platforms as well. And the premise of this messaging really will be to increase membership, which we know that's our main goal for Mobiversary, just to drive membership and awareness. We're also going to be promoting posts about our promotion on 7/7/17 from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. During this time, people will have the opportunity to join our organization at an awesome and amazing discounted price. So we'll get into more of that in the weeks to come, but there'll be some social messaging about that as well. And then we're going to be leveraging a couple of different hashtags just to get some traction and create some excitement on social. So I know that Vanessa shared with you the Woke Mom video. We're also going to look at leveraging that hashtag to generate awareness as well. It's a hashtag that's circulating a little bit in social. It's definitely one that we see a space where we can kind of overcome and overtake that hashtag. We're really excited to just really kind of make that our own and help that lend some eyeballs to our messaging. So you can see on this slide here a couple of examples of some social posts. The one that went out yesterday is the one, the video that Vanessa shared. At the top you'll see an example of a social post that we're going to be doing just where people can drop in a picture. And then on the right you'll see an example of our editorial calendar. We have so many things going on the editorial calendar that are all going to ladder up to our main goal of generating awareness of our organization and then also of Mobiversary. Some specific campaigns that fall underneath Mobiversary that we wanted to highlight and make you guys aware of is we're going to launch a campaign, a weekly campaign called Woke Mom of the Week. And we're really excited about this. This is similar to our Mob to Mob that we had a couple of months ago. But what we're looking to do here is allow people in our community online, on Facebook, to nominate moms who are woke moms. And so the video shared what our definition of woke moms are, and we're looking to expand that just a little bit, but hear directly from those in our Facebook group and those who are members of our organization about who represents and exemplifies a woke mom. As the nominations come in via social media, we'll someone from the communications committee, I believe, or maybe Pelsha will select our Woke Mom of the Week to be highlighted on our social platforms and just really kind of giving a nod to those who are on the front lines in whatever way, shape, or form they're able to make sure that their sons are protected. So that's really exciting. Another thing that we're going to be doing on social, and this is specifically on the platform of Instagram, we're going to be highlighting I'm sure that a lot of people who are familiar with social are familiar with the Man Crush Monday post. So we're going to twist that a little bit. We're going to start getting involved in the Mom Crush Mondays. So it's MOM Crush Monday. And so what we're going to be doing, those of us on the social team, we're going to be hopping into Instagram and just sorting through posts where people have identified themselves as a mom. They're showing pictures of them and their sons. Of course, they're mothers of black boys that we're going to be highlighting, but we're going to leverage the hashtag Mom of Boys to find people who are not necessarily followers of our page already. And so this is going to be really impactful for our strategy to create awareness, because it's not necessarily, again, going to be people who are following our Instagram handle. We're going to be going out and proactively seeking people who fit our demographic and our target audience, and those people who would probably align with our mission and our goals, and identifying them, basically saying, we see you doing a good job, we see you sharing posts of you and your son on social media, we see that you're taking action in whatever way, shape, or form with your son that kind of aligns with what we do at Mob United. So we're really excited to launch that this upcoming Monday. That will continue through all the 4 weeks leading up to our Mob anniversary. We'll look at that time if we want to continue that based on how much traction we get, how much engagement we get, but that's definitely going to be a way to kind of up the ante with what we've been doing on social just to generate some awareness. So we're really, really excited about that. On the next slide, I think we get into, let's see.
Good morning, ladies.
Yeah, on the next slide we get into the regional meetup. So I'm going to kick this over to Lisa to share some more information about what's going on there.
Okay. Hi, moms. We want to try to connect you with other moms in your area. We've had several meet and greets in the past, but this one, we're definitely the commemorative of our 1 year getting together. Certain key cities that we're currently working in and setting up events are Dallas, Texas, Houston, Texas, San Antonio, San Diego, and Los Angeles, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, the Bay Area, California. Other areas, Nashville, Tennessee, Atlanta, Georgia, Charlotte, North Carolina, Staten Island, New York, Westchester County, New York, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the D.C., Maryland, VA area, even Cambridge, Massachusetts. So we're trying to make this event very all regional, all across the country, and we're in the process of planning all this. We will have a chapter development call on Monday. I'll send out an invite for that. So if anyone's interested in joining, helping with the planning process, please reach out or check out the event section. Next, we're going to have Alicia talk about the membership drive.
Alicia,
hello?
We hear you.
Thank you. Good morning. So yes, we're really excited about Mobiversary. We're working on a workbook that will actually be ready for everyone who's planning to host an event in the regional areas, to have a guide to direct you about what, some opportunities or what direction to take for the activity that you'll be hosting in your area. It'll also provide information that you'll be equipped to speak on the organization and be able to really be prepared to answer any questions that other people might have regarding becoming a member of Mob United. So look out for that whenever you're signing up for your event to host them in the local areas. And then also we'll have merchandise available. We'll have some new items coming soon. We're looking at some shirts for moms and sons, mothers, fathers. We want everyone to be able to be a part of our Mobiversary being a commemorative event. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. It's a great plan. Very exciting to be commemorating 1 year. It's hard to believe we've been together this long, and I think we've done a lot, we've accomplished a lot, we've been very active, but just the fact that we have remained together after coming together randomly on Facebook almost a year ago within itself is a testament of the passion and dedication of this group. And I just want to say how blessed I feel to have met all of you and look forward to continuing the journey. So now we want to open it up for questions or comments on anything you've heard today or anything else you want to raise. And if you have a question or comment, don't forget to star 6. Anyone? Okay. If not, we will wrap up early. Nothing wrong with getting a little time back on a Saturday morning. And we will wrap up with a closing prayer by Nashiva Star.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I didn't realize my mute button was on. I have one quick question, if it's still permissible.
Sure. And what's your name?
My name is Elaine Sutton, and I wanted to ask, do you have chapters in the St. Louis, Missouri area?
I don't believe we have a leader in that area yet, but we want to form chapters everywhere, but I know that's an area that we have as a target market that we want to have a chapter in, but I don't think anyone has stepped up yet. So if you're there and are interested, please connect with Lisa, who's on the call. She's at chapters@mobunited.org because we're trying to build a group there.
Okay, awesome. Okay, great. Will do. And then my second question was, there was a mention about the needing to reach out to more organizations. Are you working with the ACLU National in D.C.?
Not yet, but I actually have a call with someone from the ACLU, I believe, this week.
Okay,
so
great.
We're making those connections, yeah.
Okay, well, excellent, because I just accepted a position here. I relocated here to St. Louis from Atlanta. St. Louis is home, and just accepted a position with the ACLU here in St. Louis.
Okay, wonderful. And congratulations.
Actually, we're in contact with the policy folks of ACLU in D.C., not their leadership, but they've put us in contact with folks around the country.
Okay, that's great. That's great. Thank you very much. This is my first call, and I must say it was highly informative, and I'm very impressed. I'm glad to be a part.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for joining. And definitely reach out to Lisa. She put her email address in the chat, if you can see that.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay.
Great job.
Any other questions or comments? Okay. Well, our next call will be in 2 weeks. And Nashiva Star, you want to close us out?
Absolutely. Dear Lord, bless these arms that they remain steady and not grow tired with how heavy the duties are all day long. Bless my thoughts with integrity and wisdom, and let me voice it with softness. For words spoken gently actually carry more strength than when I am loud. Bless my heart with perseverance and help me accomplish all my tasks. Make me appreciate my responsibilities more, that I may work harder and be better than I was. Most of all, please bless my spirit, that I remain lighthearted, joyfully completing everything that needs to be done. And as the moon shines bright tonight, please bless my soul that I remain tranquil and at peace. And as I lay my work-weary head down to sleep. Thank you so much, ladies. Have a great rest of your weekend.
Thank you. Amen.
Thank you. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Wow. Great deal. Cool. Okay, so how do I... I am most thankful, Lord, that you allowed me to This was a great meeting.
Thank you.